Welcome to JC show. You are considered as one of the discoveries in this country, spiritual. How this is so?
I think most people still have not discovered.
So how you are considered a mystique guru or mystique person in this country? How you started your career? People want to know.
Probably when I was 4 years of age, I realized one thing. I suddenly realized one day that I don't know anything actually. Don't know anything means I don't know anything at all. If somebody gave me a glass of water, I would be staring at water for 3 to 4 hours because I wouldn't know what is water. Well, I know I can drink this water, I can use this water, I know how to use the water, but I don't know what is water. Even today, with all the scientific exploration, we still do not know even one atom in its entirety. We know how to use it, but we don't know what it is. So if I found a leaf, I would be staring at it for 5, 6 hours. I would sit up in the bed staring at the darkness for the entire night. So my father, being a doctor, started thinking I need psychiatric evaluation.
Yes.
Because this boy is simply staring at something. So in this condition, they also sent me to school. My mother said, pay attention to the teacher. I went and paid attention. The kind of attention they would have never received in their life.
Okay. What was that?
Absolute attention. I'm just looking at them. So initially I understood what they were trying to say. After some time, I realized that they were only making noises. I was making up meanings in my mind.
You suddenly got some spiritual power or divine power at some hill space. What is that moment, how it happened, and what you felt at that time?
I was in business. I was very successful, far more successful than most people would imagine in a short span of time. Half a dozen things I was doing and very successful with whatever I was doing. One afternoon when I had nothing much to do, I went up Chamundi Hill. I was in Mysore. So in Mysore city, it's like this, if you have something to do, you go up Chamundi Hill. If you have nothing to do, you go up Chamundi Hill. I had nothing to do, so I went up Chamundi Hill. This is a hill which is very familiar to me. So I went and sat, I parked my motorcycle and went up and sat on a rock that was very familiar to me. My eyes were still open, I didn't even close my eyes. Till that moment, I always knew this is me, that is somebody else. I have no problem with that somebody, but this is me, that is somebody else. Suddenly I did not know which is me, which is not me. The very rock I was sitting upon, the air that I breathed, the atmosphere around me, everything had become me. I thought this lasted for about 5–10 minutes, but when I came back to my normal senses, it was about 4.5 hours. For the first time in my adult life, tears were flowing. Tears and me were impossible.
What actually inspired you to go for Isha Foundation and all that?
It is just that I started sharing with people whichever way I could, in my own ways. Then a huge number of people gathered, then a place became necessary. I was very averse to forming an organization. So I allowed the physical freedom I had at that time. I motorcycled across the country, I did whatever I wanted. But as the number of people gathered and their longing was so strong, then we had to set up a place.
So that is the point. And from there then you are going to places, you are expanding in America and all.
I am not expanding. People's
People's
longing is drawing us, that's all. I have no business plan to expand.
So you have some 1300 or 17-acre some yoga pharma in America, what is that? Who
Yes,
owns
in
that?
United States, there's a large center coming up now and there's enormous interest in the West because the religions that have been taught to people cannot withstand 3 intelligent questions. If you ask 3 questions, the entire teaching will collapse. And we have come to a time where human intellect is sparking like never before. More people can think for themselves than ever before in the history of humanity. People raise questions in their mind and everything, heavens will collapse. So naturally, seeking truth has become… It used to be very much an Indian thing forever. Right from ancient times, this is a land of seekers. But today, this longing to know has become everywhere because it is no more… you cannot rule the world by dogma. You have to… whatever logical questions they have, you must be able to answer them, you must be able to find solutions for them. Simply saying this is the way it is not going to work anymore in the world.
In Rajasthan, there's a lot of craze in the bureaucracy among the politicians, especially the lady chief minister. How this all happens?
No, the thing is this, in the last 20 years, I have particularly focused on leadership because if a nation or the world has to benefit from anything, it's important the leadership is of a different nature. What leadership means is, you have the privilege of touching so many people's lives. When you have such a privilege, I believe that your hands must be super clean. You must be of a certain kind. If your work is important, it is very important that you work upon yourself. So I have been striving across the world to touch the leadership. When I said leadership, I was not talking about prime ministers and chief ministers, because their term of leadership is very short, brief, 5 years, 10 years max, they're going. But there's another set of leadership which is solidly there for 25 to 30 years. The bureaucracy, the business leadership, the social leaders, if they change the way they look at life, if they change their own experience of who they are and what people are to them, things will change. So we have touched nearly 42 to 43% of these 2,000 people we listed. And as a part of this, we have been touching political leadership also. So we've done these programs for Andhra Pradesh, to some extent for Madhya Pradesh, now to Rajasthan. We want to see the political leadership, the administrative leadership and economic leadership to go through a certain change within themselves. Because in their hearts and minds, if they become little more inclusive, everything could be done better. People are doing whatever they know best. This is how I see life. Somebody may think he's good, he's bad, but they're doing… that's all they know, so that's what they're doing. Unless you raise their experience to a higher level, unless you raise their intelligence and perception of life to a higher level, they will not do anything higher. So in this effort, we are touching the state governments and as many leaders as possible.
It is largely believed that you are the yoga guru of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
I have not taught him any yoga. He's been practicing yoga from some other source. I don't know where he learnt it, but I have never taught him yoga.
He's doing a lot to expand yoga, to popularize yoga in the country. How you…
See, as a Prime Minister of this nation, being concerned about the well-being of the nation is his business. Unfortunately, in India, we have not seen a Prime Minister in that context. We are thinking they are supposed to do only economic policy, this, that. No, it is the leader's business to think of people's well-being. So he is talking about keeping your street clean, keeping your toilet clean, keeping your hands clean. For the first time, there is a movement. There he has put some film stars to activate people to wash their hands with soap. I'm saying this is all the concerns of a leader, because if the nation has to go ahead, how people live has to move ahead. So in the same context, about keeping your inner dimensions well, yoga is an important part. When so many tragic things are happening, like our children are committing suicide, so many things are happening, I think it is the business of the Prime Minister to see how well-being can be brought. Especially when we have a knowledge in the country, we have a certain dimension of knowledge in the nation where we know how to keep our interiority, not just for this nation, for the entire world we can offer this. And it's appropriate that he put it up to United Nations. And look at the way the UN responded. Never before in the history of United Nations, 174 countries have voted for anything. Till now, for anything they have not come together. For yoga, they came together. This must be a clear message to everybody. The world was waiting for India to take a step. It took so many years for us to come to that. I am glad that this Prime Minister took that step.
Do you think that he is slowly emerging as a global leader?
Obviously, there's no question. I must tell you this. I was in a Robert Kennedy 25th anniversary tour, there's a kind of a golf tournament and an event there. There were over 42 senior Democratic, congressmen and senators and others. Without exception, every one of them seeking me out, coming to me and telling me, Modi, they say Modi, so Modi is a global leader. There is no other leader like that in the world right now. Okay? I'm saying they're putting him above Obama, clearly. So, we also, it is not about joining a party or appreciating a man. My concern is over 400 million people in this country have still not eaten properly. If you see a strong leader, all of us should pitch on to him and see that the nation moves forward. This is our business. The problem in the country right now is, we seem to be in an election mode all the 5 years. Once the election is over, once we've elected somebody, whoever that is, once we've elected somebody, it's our business to support them for 5 years to do their work. We should not be thinking anything in between if we are concerned about the people and the kind of suffering Indian people are going.
How you define this Modi phenomena abroad?
He has earned it. Just the way he has expressed himself, the breadth of his thought, he has earned that from the people.
Even in the Muslim countries, he is visiting, getting a lot of response.
What's it got to do with Hindu or Muslim or anybody? It's got something to do with the man's capability. So people are appreciating. In the world, it doesn't matter. In the end, only competence matters.
People are curious to know, actually in the country, you are a Sant, sannyasi or grahasth?
I'm grahasth.
How you see some sort of a balancing or this combination, or normally sannyasis are away from grahasthi, or they ignore grahasthi or don't take proper care of grahasth part of their life. How you manage these two parts?
I manage everything well.
You manage everything
Because
well.
I know how to manage my mind perfectly well. Once you know how to manage your mind and yourself well, you will manage everything well.
How you visualize this world after 50 years?
How we make it. I want to make it a wonderful place, because this is a fundamental responsibility we have as a generation of people is, we must understand, we are just a pop-up on the planet. We are here for a brief amount of time. In the life of this planet, we are just 2 seconds, you and me. The world was given to us in a certain way. It's our business to live it little better. I hope we live it better than the way we got it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.